Aloha and welcome back to Live at the Legislature for our Senate interview. I'm Communications Director Jesse Broder Van Dyke. My guest today is Senator Mike Gabbard, who represents West Oahu, Kapolei, Makakilo, and portions of Ewa, Kaleloa, and Waipahu. Thanks so much for joining us today, Senator.
Thank you, Jesse. And first of all, I just want to give a shout out to all the graduates from the high schools in my district. Congratulations to all of you and your families. Best wishes.
Congratulations to all the class of 2020 and best of luck during this difficult time. What's your take on the current situation with COVID-19?
Well, Jesse, God, it's surreal in a word. You know, there's so much uncertainty and still so many question marks about the economy and about the virus. And so I thought it's interesting that Hawaii had the lowest rate of unemployment in the country at less than 3%. And now it's roughly 35%. So we have a staggering 235,000 new unemployment claims filed since this crisis began. And the bummer is that because of outdated technology and antiquated processes in the Department of Labor and Industrial Relations, it's made it extremely difficult for people to get their unemployment benefit checks. So I also want to mahalo the members of our Senate Special Committee on COVID-19 who've been pressing the governor to make changes in the unemployment application process, the policies for incoming arrivals at the airports, monitoring the quarantine of tourists, and many other important issues. And it's good to see that some of these measures have kept our numbers of infections very low. And so as we begin reopening up the state, I think it's crucial that we do it in a safe and a careful manner.
Absolutely. And during the stay-at-home period, you and your staff were working remotely, but not coming to the Capitol. What did you do in your role as state senator during that time?
Well, like a lot of folks, I was using the Zoom remote meetings. On May 6th, Rep. Nicole Lowen from the House and we co-hosted a Legislative Environmental Caucus meeting. And we had a very interesting presentation on a new 3-part documentary called A Climate for Change, The New Normal. And it's by Anthony Alto. He's the producer from Green Island Films, and Mike Hinchy is the director. And also Dr. Camilo Mora, he's an associate professor of geography up at UH Manoa, and also leader of the Carbon Neutrality Project. And so the message of the filmmakers that they're trying to get out to our community is that if each of us, we start changing our personal behavior, like reducing conspicuous consumption, planting trees, changing our diets, that we can create a ripple effect that will influence us guys, you know, the policymakers, as well as the corporations, to help implement those bigger needed changes. And this will help us turn back the rising tide of climate change, which is already having far-reaching impacts here in Hawaii. The first episode is available now on Hawaii News Now on their website. And one of the highlights is UH Professor Mora and his Hawaii carbon neutral plan to plant 1 million trees. And Jesse, it was really cool because in December 2019, just a few months ago, he got 2,000 volunteers to show up at Gunstock Ranch in Kahuku on the North Shore, and they planted 10,000 trees. And so Dr. Mora, he shared this important fact with us. He said that the average person produces 25 tons of CO2 each year planting 11 trees. If each of us plant 11 trees, we can eliminate a person's entire carbon footprint. 11.
That's really great.
Yeah, so instead of just, what we've been doing is wringing our hands and saying, yeah, we got to do something about climate change. I mean, here's a perfect example of community aloha in action. And also, I've been doing some organic gardening out in my backyard. I wrote a commentary for.
Keep going.
I wrote a commentary on Victory or Lanakila Gardens that was printed in Civil Beat on March 25th. And during both world wars, there was a drastic food shortage in our country. And so people were encouraged to plant what were called victory gardens in their backyards to grow fruits and veggies. And so by 1944, these victory gardens, as they were called, they were growing approximately 40% of all the fruits and veggies in the country. So I'm saying, just in case, let's get growing.
And people won't be surprised to hear that you chair the Senate Agricultural and Environment Committee. And I know that the session abbreviated on May 11th, but we're hoping that we might have a chance to do more legislation in June. What are your plans going forward?
Well, during that short session, what the Senate does, we confirm judges. We also approve, evaluate, and confirm the governor's nominees to cabinets and state boards and commissions. So since the session ends Thursday, we've been considering like 260 of these nominees. And so we had, as the AEN committee, we had 12 of the nominees. So I'm really happy that these guys have stepped forward to serve the public.
The legislature recently finalized the construction project budget for the session through House Bill 2725. How did your district, Senate District 20, do out in West Oahu?
Well, we did pretty good, actually. Mahalo, first of all, to Senator Keith Agaran, Rep. Yamashita, as well as to Senator Dela Cruz and Rep. Luke for their hard work on the construction budget. We got $30.1 million for a VA long-term care facility, which is planned right across from Walmart there in Kapolei. We also received $26 million to complete the final phase of East Kapolei Middle School, which will open for sixth graders this fall, and the whole community is jumping up and down on that one. And then there's $6 million to renovate large classrooms at Kapolei High School, and also $100 million to widen Farrington Highway from Fort Weaver Road and Eva to the Kapolei Golf Course. So, getting these projects going will obviously stimulate our economy and also provide services for my constituents.
Okay, well, we just have 1 minute left. Do you have any final messages for the folks dealing with this pandemic out there?
Yes, just stay safe, stay well, and be patient. I think that we're on the right track here. And I also want to thank you, Jesse, and also Olelo for the opportunity to share my thoughts with the public. So, ke akua me ke aloha, and please stay safe and stay well.
Thank you so much, Senator. And yes, thank you to Olelo. They've been televising all of our hearings while the building's been closed to the public, and there's a full slate of Senate and House hearings on today. I'm sure we'll all be staying tuned. Thanks so much, Senator, for joining us.
Thank you.
Mahalo.
Aloha.
What are you doing? We have to go. I'm gonna be late for work.
It's Tuesday morning. I gotta record live at the legislature on Olelo. Senate and House leadership discussing what's happening at the state capitol.
So just watch it on the news tonight. Come on, let's go.
Hey, this is like getting the news before it's news. If only I could get this remote to work.
There. Can we go now?
No DVR? No problem. Watch Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. on Channel 49.